beaten to within an inch of his life with a whip that literally tore skin off of his back because it was braided with shards of glass and metal. Jesus was bleeding profusely, probably near death before he ever started up that hill with the cross. They strapped it to his back and forced him to carry that beam through the busy city streets of Jerusalem during Passover, when the streets were packed with people doing their business. Hi, welcome back to 4-Minute Church. Today, I just wanted to look at a couple of things surrounding the crucifixion that in the past I've been asked about, and we don't have a lot of information if we just read through one of the gospel accounts or hear it in church. In order to get the most information we can, we've got to do a comparison of the gospels and look at church tradition. So over the next couple of days, I want to look at some things that we might not have considered about the crucifixion. Jesus is carrying that cross down the busy city street. You know, when we see a movie about Jesus's crucifixion, we picture him going down some dusty road, and it's wide city street, and you know, it's pretty empty other than some Roman soldiers leading this condemned criminal. But that's not how it was. Passover was busy. The city streets were extremely narrow. And he's carrying this beam on his back, and he's being jostled by people who are doing their shopping, getting ready for Passover. Jerusalem has surged from a small town to some estimates 500,000 people in that city at one time for Passover. And so he finds it difficult as he struggles. And we know that at one point he falls, and the Bible tells us that Simon of Cyrene was pressed into service to help carry Jesus' cross. Now, Simon had probably saved up all his money for this trip to Jerusalem for a Passover that all good Jews were expected to go to. He's probably out enjoying his day in the big city when some Roman soldier grabs him and says, "Help carry that cross." Simon had to have been humiliated. He had to have been horrified that he had to do this. But something maybe, just maybe, touched Simon when he looked into Jesus' eyes. And I say this because when Mark writes about Simon helping, he records that it was Simon of Cyrene, and then adds the father of Rufus and Alexander. Now, in biblical times, you didn't discuss someone's lineage by talking about their children. You didn't introduce someone by talking about who their children were. You talked about their historic lineage. You would have said Rufus, son of, not father of, unless his sons were well known in the community to whom you were writing. Now, Mark's writing to a Christian community, so that means Simon's sons must be well known in the Christian community. Something touched them as well. Later in Acts 31, it discusses men who have been anointed by Paul and Barnabas to go on a mission, and it says Simon, also called Niger, the same Simon of Cyrene. I'm convinced in church tradition can tell us this. And so what looks like a horrible, humiliating time turned into the greatest glory that man ever knew. Think about that as we're facing the times we face today, friends. Until next time, the Lord bless and keep you. The Lord lift his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. Love you, brothers and sisters. Peace out.